We didn't know if you finished talking or if there was a delay on something earlier.
Oh, my bad.
No, it's cool. That's all right.
I was telling.
It's working now. We're live.
Oh, okay.
All right.
So I think so we just need to make a game plan here.
Yeah.
So it touches on quite a few issues that the union's worried about, and we just need to, I think, identify, because in negotiations there's give and there's take, right? So we need to identify what's the most important and what's the least important, so that if we need to, we can sacrifice something so that we can compromise. But we got to identify which ones we can't compromise on and which ones we can.
I think this is important.
Which one?
Wages.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with wages. Obviously, that's probably one of our biggest ones.
Yeah. I think another big one to think about is it sounds like this new plant has a safety issue. It said there's 202 injuries for every 100 workers at the plant. So the working conditions are clearly not up to par for what they were at the old factory. So I mean, that's a big one, because it doesn't matter how much money you're making if you get your hand chopped off or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
So all the issues, let's just identify all of them real quick. So we got wages, we got safety, we've got layoffs.
Yeah, layoffs and annual bonuses. Do we want to include that under wages or additional?
I think we'd probably include that on the wages, because we could tie in like the incentive program and the escrow account and all that. Incentives, bonuses. So we got wages and incentives with bonuses, safety, layoffs. We've got
escalator clause.
Okay. We've got what was the work rules one? So management involvement. It sounds like there was, because somewhere in here it was talking about that the management was running the line continuously and they were micromanaging a lot more. So manager involvement.
Well, it like from the first negotiation, the culture, how it's a family based, and the culture and things were being done generation after generation. So
that's I think that's less of a bargaining issue, and that's more of a bargaining tactic, right? We're going to play on the generational aspect of it. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
So
like the forefathers never did it this way.
Yeah, exactly.
Which one?
So we've got precedent to argue. We've got what we've got going against us. That they've got there's a labor, what did it say? It was a labor surplus or a labor shortage? I can't remember. It said somewhere in here. Let's see.
Because of the economy change, wasn't it a shortage? 1980, I think it was 1983 that it was.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I think it was a shortage for a very long time. The recession continues.
So,
and it's interesting because it was like They pointed out it's this permanent working agreement, and they just added clauses to it.
Yeah.
So, the generational, that was part of it because it was their culture, and they didn't negotiate everything, but they just amended.
Yeah.
As they needed.
So we've got that, and then we've got the company is so in the wages section, pushing for wages. We've got the company is becoming more profitable. It's increasing its sales and its net profits, and so they don't need to be cutting costs on the employee side. They're making more money, so they don't need to be trying to save a buck on the employees, which it talks about that in the past they encouraged veteran employees to retire by bribing them, and that now they're wanting to end the 52-week layoff notice so that they can kick the older guys off without having to bribe them. They can just lay them off and then not bring them back on.
Right.
So it sounds like, in my opinion, the one that basically holds it all together is going to be that 52-week layoff and the first right of refusal for upcoming job. That's going to be the biggest thing, in my opinion, because it's going to be, no matter what wages you negotiate, no matter what benefits and what safety you negotiate, if all the senior employees could just get laid off like the next week because they don't have to give notice, they can just do it, and then they don't have to give them first rights to come back on the job, then the company is just going to cycle out all those employees anyways and then renegotiate. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, and that's the thing is, it's not that we're just picking one. It's that, we have to pick ones that we can't budge on. And I think that's one of the ones that they can't budge on. They can't relinquish, because otherwise the whole point of it is moot, because all the older guys that are the union guys will probably just get the axe.
It's like relieving dead weight. The older you get, you consider more dead weight. And so, why not get the younger generation, and the pay is better to start off at. Right?
That's true.
Exactly. So yeah, that's the thing is then we're gonna have to play an angle where we say those layoffs aren't feasible. They need to have the 52-week rule to retain the senior employees, because it talks about it on there that a large part of the safety issue is that they're putting new employees with employees that just started. So they're getting trained by people who haven't necessarily been fully trained yet. So without that senior level of employees, it's only going to get worse.
Yeah.
She told me something. Let her have it clear. The second floor, but you have hers, okay? And then she goes so sick. Okay, I love you.
So I think on the wages side, I think the two most important issues are going to be the 52-week layoff and the first right of job refusal, and then wages, like we were talking about, because being able to come to work and not have somebody say we're laying you off today, and being able to make the money you need to at work are probably the two most important things.
So how are we gonna? I mean, are we gonna get into how they do have to lay someone off as opposed to like a notice, things like that, or or are we just gonna basically say you can't do it right then and there? You know what I mean?
I don't think that with the scope of what we're discussing tonight that we'll be able to get into like the nitty gritty of like
Okay.
contract and all that. I think
More
it's just
just
going to be
the basic of it, right?
yeah, exactly. That they can't do like immediate terminations. So, whether I'm sure with union negotiations, they'd actually, it probably get talked down from like a 52-week layoff, right? They'd say, okay, you get, a 5-week or a 10-week or a 30-week layoff
Right.
instead or whatever. Because I mean, even 30 weeks, someone can find a new job if they've got a 30-week notice.
Sure.
I would hope.
It didn't say anything about severance pay, did it?
I was just going to ask that. I don't think so, but I think, and again, I think that might be too specific for what we're trying to accomplish, but I think there should be some type of severance package.
Says for 2 years after the plant was built, Baxter provided attractive severance packages to motivate old employees to retire, but they only offered the severance packages to retiring employees. They don't have anything in here about severance packages for laid off employees.
Yeah.
So that's something to talk about. That's a negotiating chip there. And we could say that we'll lower the layoff notice, but that there needs to be severance package for layoff. And then the same thing with we don't really want to. Oh, sorry, what?
I think it should be 1 week per year's worked.
1 week per year worked as a notice, you mean?
No, it has severance pay.
Okay.
If you work a year, you get so much. You get, if you work 20 years, you get so much.
Cool. Sounds good to me.
That works.
So that's good because that's about probably as intricate as we want to get, as in-depth as we want to get. We don't want to get too much more nitty-gritty negotiation than that. For the incentive program, kind of the same thing. We don't really want to get into like the specifics of the incentive program. But it talks about, it says the current injury rate at the plant strongly suggests that the present pace of production is so high that it is dangerous. Not only is this unsafe to your workers, it's also costly to Baxter. Lost workdays affect profits. You would like to see production targets set at 80% of current level, with anything above that that paid for through incentives. You are willing to give a little on this, but feel it's very important that Baxter and its employees once again develop a cooperative mode of production. So that's actually going to be a double-edged sword there, because we can or hit 2 points, because we can reinstate the incentive program and increase factory safety, which is going to actually, in the long run, it's going to make the employees more money and it's going to save Baxter money, right?
And that would be how we would want to argue it.
Yep.
Has it been 10 minutes?
Probably.
Okay.
I guess to get on the other one, we just join that other call, right?
Yeah, we'll click back on that other link.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. We got this.
Okay.
All right, cool. All
Great.
right.
We'll go